have joined me for tonight's webinar, which is the 7 ingredients to help you achieve your goals. Now, I had you do an assignment before we got started, and I'm hoping that you did that. I asked you, in order to prepare for this webinar, you're going to write down some goals, and you are also going to think about them every day, morning, noon, and night. Now, I hope you did that, because that's part of what we can do to build up more of that energy to achieve those goals, and literally be able for us to earnestly build that desire, or build that earnest desire for the things that we want to attract in our lives more. So I hope you had your goals going. I hope you did your assignment, because that's a big step. That's one of the biggest steps that we may have in achieving our goals, is to prepare for them. And when you are writing down your goals and you're going over them morning, noon, and night, and you do this day after day after day after day after day, you're not only preparing for them, you're building more of that energy of desire that makes great things happen. So I really hope that you did do your homework and getting, writing down your goals. Now, when we talk about the 7 ingredients for achieving any goal, with that, it's really a jam-packed list. Not only are they 7, but there could be a lot more. But each one of those different ingredients has a lot to talk about. We talked about writing down your goals and reading over them morning and night to build more desire, to build that earnest desire. And I think that's something we really need to talk about a little bit. What are the things you earnestly desire in life? Because those are the things that you're going to attract more readily than the things that you half-heartedly think about, or that you just kind of don't think about all the time, or things you just wish about, wish you had. Because if you're just putting some portion of your energy of desire towards the things that you want to attract into your life, you're not going to get them. We're talking about subjective energy versus objective energy. When we talk about the subjective energy, we're talking about all the things that are associated to your intelligence and to your mind. Now, in studying a lot of the Silva method concepts and ideologies, you know that mind has no limits or barriers whatsoever to time or space. That intelligence has no barriers to or limitations whatsoever to time or space. And mind is a focusing faculty of your intelligence. Mind allows your intelligence that is connected to all information, to everything. That is, if you want to call it that omniscient, omnipotent ability that's within you, that's the power that you have inside. Mind allows your intelligence to go out into the macrocosm or the microcosm, into the past, present, or future, to gather information, or to really to get information to solve problems, or to better your living experience. So those two parts of your inner being, your mind and your intelligence, are the things that you want to connect with often to build that earnest desire. When you connect with your earnest desire with your mind and your intelligence, you have a direct line of communication, and that's powerful. When you're leaning on just the objective aspects of your programming, like, I want a bigger house, I want a bigger car, and you're saying things just to say them, and you think about them from time to time, that may be good, but that's not enough. That doesn't communicate with that internal powerful you that makes things happen. So in order to connect with that internal power for you to make things happen, obviously you have to internalize your focus. You have to connect with your mind. You can do that through meditation or prayer or internalization, whatever you call it. And that's what makes actualizing or achieving your goals that much better. So one of the things, I know I said a lot right here, but one of the things that we really want to look at is your earnest desire for things that really matter to you. Your earnest desire for the real valuable things in life to start with, because it's a lot easier to program or to really connect with desiring or health or more abundance, to be able to have more security for you and your family, to be able to maybe have a good career in life to fulfill your needs and live with a purpose than it is to maybe buy another pair of shoes or another expensive purse or whatever it might be, right? So those things don't have as much value as love, health, happiness, abundance, these great things, right? Career, finances, those things. So know what is it that you truly desire, because once you know that and you have that earnest desire, your ability to get it is much greater than not. The other thing too is that we want to make sure that we totally believe that we are capable of achieving that. I think it's always good to push yourself, always to push and push and push a little bit more, a little bit further, a little bit higher, a little bit greater, a little bit whatever. But as long as it's believable, because otherwise you're going to be sabotaging your outcomes. If you don't truly believe, although you may have to work a little bit harder, although you might have to work another hour or two more or put a little bit more effort to it, but if you don't truly believe that it's achievable, even though you say it, oh gosh, I want this great, job, and I love this job, I want to work at this place, but if you're just saying those words just to say them because it sounds like a fancy type of a goal to aim for, then chances are you're not going to get that. But if you really believe that you can make it, that you can really apply yourself, but you can make it, and you elevate your living experience by doing so, it's worth pursuing. Obviously, the belief is very dimensional. We've talked about this many times before, because your belief is going to see, do you believe that you can achieve it? Do you believe that you're worth it? Do you believe that it's doable? Do you believe that, all these different things? So it has a lot of dimensions to it. So whenever you ask the question of belief, you want to make sure that it's covering a lot of ground, that it's covering a lot about your inner statements that you say to yourself that you hold to be true about the things you want to achieve or actualize, and about the possibility, about your self-worth, about all kinds of things, okay? So again, earnest desire is really important. So start really thinking about, during your meditations, what do I earnestly desire? I'll give an example. Years ago, I was in a relationship that I was very, 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 engaged in, and I totally was madly in love with this person. And when we broke up, I was just miserable. I was just totally broken apart myself. And it really caused a lot of havoc in my life. And I was, all I wanted was him back in my life. And I stopped meditating. I stopped doing all the things that I knew how to do. I stopped thinking positively. I stopped doing anything because all I wanted was him back in my life. And I was miserable. I got really sick. I got really thin. I was not practicing my meditations or positive thinking or anything of that type. I was not taking care of my body. I was broke financially. I was, just everything was wrong during that time period. Obviously, he was not a good person to be in a relationship with, but at that point in time in my life, I felt that was the best I could do. Okay, we go through these things. And when I start to go back to the Silva method and really start practicing on a daily basis, I started to feel really, really good. And when I learned the Mirror of the Mind technique, then I said to myself, yes, that's a technique I'm going to apply to get him back in my life. And I thought, looking back now, I say, what a weird thing to say to myself. I was miserable with him. I was miserable without him. It wasn't a good relationship. We were always fighting. And yet that's what I believed I deserved. The best I could do for myself was a person like that. And that was where my head was at the time. That's how my life was at the time. Obviously, because we attract what we radiate. And when I started to program for him, and I visualized in the blue frame mirror of the mind that we were always fighting and arguing, and I was miserable, and things were not happy at all, and I was in a bad state. And then I erased that image in the blue frame mirror, and then I moved the frame towards my left, changed the color of the frame to white, and projected an image of the outcome that I wanted to achieve. I pictured us happy and loving and kissing and being very affectionate, and I thought, yes, that's what I want. That's what I want. But the only thing that happened though, or what happened after doing that, was that the more I programmed in that way, the worse the relationship got. The more we fought. And I couldn't at that moment begin to understand why. I'm doing everything right. I'm visualizing what I want, which is one of the ingredients, my problem situation. I'm miserable. I'm imagining what I want. I want us to be back together in love and loving each other and happy and kissing and all that kind of good stuff. And yet I wasn't getting that. We were fighting more. And to me, that was one of my very valuable experiences, because I learned there that what I earnestly desired was not him. What I desired, once I stopped to think about it, was I wanted to have love in my life. I wanted to be healthy again because I was not healthy. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to have a little more abundance because I was so broke. I wanted to be, just accepted. And I was telling myself that the only way I was going to get all these things that I earnestly desired was through him, not realizing that there was three fingers pointing right back at me. It never had anything to do with him. It only had to do with me. So when I started to really look at it from that perspective, I started to take a deeper look at other things that I thought I wanted and realized that there was a greater why behind that. And I thought I wanted him, but really I wanted happiness, health, abundance, acceptance. Those are the things I wanted. Sometimes we aim for the bling, so to speak, but it's not even about the bling. It's about how it makes you feel inside, or maybe a security or a secure feeling that you get, or maybe it feeds your ego, and that might not be a good thing either. So again, to attract into your living experience, and you're earnest about what you desire, and you believe that you can make it happen and that you're worthy of it, then you begin to expect it to happen. But to expect it to happen, you need to prepare. And it's really important that we begin to prepare. One of the ways I asked you to prepare for this was to write down your goals. And even if there were just 3 goals, to write them down and go over them morning, noon, and night. Because when you go over them, you're repeating what you want over and over and over again. You're building the energy of desire. You're building the energy of belief. And you're also building the energy of expectation. Desire, belief, and expectation together is what we call faith. Faith in what? Faith in your abilities. Faith in your power. Faith in the fact that you're going to upgrade your life and your living experience, that you're going to be happier because you're going to be attracting more of what you want. Faith in subjective spiritual energy and higher consciousness and God, whatever. But those are the 3 elements that must be present to make anything happen. So when you start thinking about expectancy is another subjective energy like belief and desire, but it's also a belief, but it's a belief that has conviction. I know for a fact I'm going to make this happen. I have absolute conviction. But in order to have absolute conviction, or if and when you have absolute conviction, you begin to prepare for it. You may have heard me say maybe sometime in the past that if you really want to attract, and meet your soulmate, then you might, that's truly what you believe, earnestly desire, and it's going to happen, that with all conviction, then you might want to upgrade to a king-size bed, don't you think? Because that way, you're making a claim. I am going to meet the love of my life, my partner, my future husband, my future wife. Let me prepare for this. If you're going to really want to attract more financial freedom in your life, then you're going to prepare for that. If you expect it to happen, you prepare. And how do you prepare? You start reading, you start studying. How do I invest my money? How do I make it grow? How do I, what do I do to make sure that my monies are going to be good for me? How do I treat my money with respect? How do I honor it? How much do I save? How much do I put aside, for spending after I put money aside for saving and pay my bills? What do I do with the rest? So you start studying. You start studying how to make your money grow. Otherwise, you're not preparing for it. How many people have you heard of or read about that have won millions of dollars only to end up in ruins and broke all over again because they didn't know how to take care of their money. They didn't know how to prepare for it, how to manage it, how to respect it, how to make it grow. Nothing. And they didn't prepare. People say, oh, I want to reduce weight. I want to reduce 20 pounds. Well, go out. If you really are serious about that, if you earnestly desire it and you totally believe it and you are expecting it with full conviction, then go out and buy yourself this really amazing outfit that's 2 sizes smaller or 3 sizes smaller. I mean, if you're going to invest in that outfit, it's because you truly believe, you expect it, and you desire it earnestly. Otherwise, they're just wishes. They're just empty words that are going out there without any weight. And in order to have weight, you really need to have that earnest desire, belief, and expectancy. Expectancy is a belief of conviction, and then you prepare to receive. You study, or you make plans, or you make arrangements, or you change your household, or you go out and do something that is going to say, I'm ready to receive this. It's going to happen with full conviction. And that's what I'm going to do. And so these are very important things to remember, because otherwise you're just kidding yourself. And you don't want to be kidding yourself. Whenever you set a goal or set your goals, you think about them all the time. You think about them often. In the Silva Manifesting Program, we always talk about connecting with your goals all the time. And a really great way of connecting with your goals is simply to defocus your vision, picture your outcome. And the best way to picture your outcome is to first do it in a meditation. So when you're going into a meditation before going to sleep at night or in the morning when you wake up, then picture what you want to achieve, then step into the experience of achievement. You step into the experience of achievement so that your body, brain, and mind begin to know what it feels like to be that person who has already achieved that outcome. And the more your body, brain, and mind role play and experience that already very successful you, then it begins to own it. And so when you're in the experience of achievement, and I recommend you do this on an ongoing basis, then you want to be able to make sure that you own that experience of achievement, that you recognize how wonderful it feels, and that it's going to be yours. You're very convinced that it's going to be yours, and you're good with that. So you connect with the things that you want throughout the day as often as possible. So the one thing that we're going to do is write them down, build up your desire, belief, and expectancy. Make sure you have an earnest desire, that you believe it's possible, and that you're going to also expect it to happen with full conviction. You're going to think about it often, and you picture outcomes with your eyes defocused, or even by shutting your eyes for a few minutes and going, yeah, you're in the experience of achievement. It goes, God, that feels so good to have already lost 20 pounds. Oh my God, it feels so good to have this extra abundance or this extra money. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm living with the love of my life. Whatever it is that you're working on, but you experience it often, even if it's just for 5 seconds at a time. 5 seconds often throughout the day is telling your mind, telling your intelligence, this is what I want. I'm going to get it. It's mine. It's done. It's just a matter of time. It's going to happen. And we need to make that. We need to reinforce that and strengthen that throughout the day. The other thing I really, really advise people to do is to keep it a secret. I think when you tell people of your goals and what you plan to do, it's almost like you're taking its power away. Unless you are telling someone who you know without a shadow of a doubt are supporting you every step of the way and can energize your goal, then don't do it. If the person is the other kind of person that really supports you and energizes your goal, yes, you can share that information with them. I share my goals with very few people, and usually it's just one person. It's probably going to be or my husband or a close friend or a co-worker, but we have a mutual goal together. But other than that, I usually don't tell a lot of people about the goals I'm working on, because they're my goals. They're my thing. I need to really give it all I've got, give it all the energy I've got. And sometimes when I say it out, it kind of takes the motivation away. It takes away some of the energy. And in some studies, it even showed that when people talked about their goals, It even made them feel that they had already taken a first step, when in all actuality they hadn't done much but just wishful thinking or vocalizing just words, and it lessened their drive to move forward to actualize the goal. So in most studies that I looked into, actually talking about your goals to others led to the person being less likely to achieve those goals. Interesting, huh? You think it'd be the opposite because you make a commitment and you have to be accountable. But in the studies that I read, it wasn't the case. So it's advised that you keep your goals a secret, and you just build the energy from within, the energy of desire, belief, expectancy, by being in the experience of achievement more than anything else, and preparing to receive. Doing all the legwork, all the beta stuff, all the physical stuff to prepare to receive it, to welcome it into your experience. So I think, those are kind of really important things to work with. So again, going back, we've talked about desire, belief, and expectancy. The other two ingredients that are really important, really combines or forms one ingredient, is imagery. Your imagery has to be clear, because the way you connect with your mind and your intelligence is not only through your intentions, but also through obviously your beliefs, but your images and your emotions and your intentions and your beliefs are going to have a direct line of communication to that power that you have within you that is omnipotent, you could say, that can literally draw into your living experience anything and everything you want. And these energies, because they're subjective in nature as well, is the language that you use to speak to mind, to speak to intelligence, to speak to the field around you from where all things come. So it's really important that you also focus on the kinds of images that you're creating. The images, I say, this is my starting point. That's using visualization, because you know what it is. Anytime you use visualization, you are recalling something that you know. When you use imagination, you're creating something for the first time, something new. Once created and you recall it, you're using visualization. But those are two sides of the coin of imagery. So you need to be real clear. This is my starting point. This is what I did to contribute to this. This is the choices I made in my life led to this outcome. I created this outcome. I created this life. Because if you're going to be living in denial, you're not going to get very far. The sooner you're accountable for your life as a creation, as your creation, the sooner you empower yourself to change it around and create something better. So to acknowledge your life the way it is and what you have done to create it that way is engaging visualization. You don't have to spend a lot of time in this step, but you do need to acknowledge this is my life right now, and I know I created this. I know if I had done different things or chosen different things, I might have had a different life, but this is what I created, and I'm accepting responsibility for that, and I choose to change it. And when you picture that in the mirror of the mind, we usually picture that in the blue frame mirror. You then erase that image, change the color of the frame to white, move the frame to the left, your spatial left just a little bit, and then create into the white frame mirror of the mind what you want instead. Your outcome, the goal, the future you, whatever it is that you want instead. And then you add a lot of detail and color. You want to add detail and color because it makes it more vivid. It communicates with you more precisely. The more specific you are about what you want to achieve, the more clarity you're giving your mind and your intelligence as to the road you want it to take to manifest that goal, or always better than that. It could be that or better. So never even think to yourself, this is what I want, this is the end of all, this is the biggest, most greatest. No, it could be better than that, okay? So just keep that in mind. And so visualization and imagination, or imagery, is another one of the ingredients, which is the fourth ingredient that you always want to take into consideration, that you doing it right, exactly, no. But what's more important than the how is what you want, the clear vision of what you want to actualize, and your why. which is your earnest desire. That's even more important than how I'm going to get there. Just allow everything to fall into place. It will. Things will fall into place to make that you're desiring a reality or better than that. The next goal or the next ingredient that we want to talk about is the action that you take. It's got to be positive and persistent. Your actions have to be both subjective and objective. You need to have the persistent action at the beta level, in the physical world. If you want to earn more monies, or maybe get a promotion in your job, you might want to go and take some classes, educate yourself some more, sharpen your skills, be able to add new capabilities and skills into what you can offer. If it's weight loss that you want instead, you want to reduce some weight, well, then the action needs to be persistent. You need to reduce your eating, eat more nutritiously, exercise a little bit more, move more, eat less, or eat more nutritious foods. You need to do this on an ongoing basis. Then mentally, you're going to picture you at your ideal weight and size, or at your next goal of weight and size. And so you're going to do the subjective and objective. Everything that you do has to be balanced in both dimensions, because your inner dimension is going to be reflected in your outer experience. So if you only do on the outer level, you can get somewhere, but not as easier and not as fast as when you also reinforce it by going into your meditations and doing what you have to do from the inner level, the subjective spiritual level. So subjectively, you meditate, you picture, you have the intentions, you have the beliefs, you have the desire, you have the expectation with conviction, and you get into the experience of achievement. And then that's what you do subjectively. Objectively, you're doing all that has to get done. You're doing your research, you're doing your study, you're eating more nutritiously, or you're exercising more, or whatever it is. Okay, so you have to figure that out as to how it pertains to your goals. But the action needs to be persistent, and it's to be proactive and positive. So the 3 P's: really positively moving you forward, and you need to be proactive about. Have a proactive attitude and moving again in a forward way, making great things happen, always for the better, in a very optimistic manner. And it needs to be persistent. You don't give up. If you really want if you really earnestly desire those things, you don't give up. You don't give up. You just keep going, and you measure your successes along the way, because no matter what it is, you're always going to move forward, and you're always going to get better and better through time. So that's the other degree. So desire, belief, expectancy, imagery, and persistent, positive, proactive action. So the action's got to be there. The other thing that we need to do is also, and preparation, that's another one, right? The other thing we want to do is we need to always be very mindful of how congruency plays a role in what we're doing when we're achieving or wanting to achieve, setting goals and wanting to achieve our goals. You need to have congruency across the board. You can't say, I really desire to reduce weight as you're eating, chocolate cookies or candies. It's incongruencies there. You can't say, I really, want to increase my my income as you stay, on the sofa watching TV all day. It's not going to happen that way. You need to be consistent and I would say congruent about how you move forward. Everything has to support everything else. You can't, want something positive and yet have a negative attitude. Say, yeah, but I'll never get it. There's an incongruency there. So if you really want it, because yes, I'm going to get it. I'm going to do really great. I'm going to make wonderful things happen in my life, and on and on you go. So you really need to make sure that there's that congruency across the board in everything you do. So let me see. Right now, Susie Forbes says, "Hola, Laura, ready for tonight." So thank you for these webinars. They are priceless. The Soul Method rocks. So do you, Laura. Thank you very much, Susie. Great energy, by the way. Tonight's topic is perfectly timed. Excellent. So, Susie, if you have some questions that you really want me to focus on or you want to ask me, then by all means, go ahead and ask me, because now's the time. I'm only going to be with you for about another 30 minutes, and I'd like to get a mental exercise in here as well. So more like 20 minutes of talk time, okay? Muskan says, in lesson 1 of Online Civil Life System, it mentions the story of Scott Adams about his entrance exam, and he was writing an affirmation daily 15 times a day, and he was able to get a on his entrance exam. And do I know what the affirmation was? I don't know exactly what the affirmation was. And he wasn't not very often shared affirmations, because affirmations are personal. Your affirmations as to what you want to actualize in your life have to resonate with you. And they have to resonate with your worldview, your values, sometimes even your culture and religion, all these different things. So affirmations are a very personal, unique kind of a statement that you say to yourself of what you want to attract into your living experience. But definitely affirmations have an outcome in mind. They're going to have a positive approach to that outcome. They're going to be stated in a very positive way. They usually are going to say "I am," or instead of "I will" in most cases. But I always say that when it comes to an affirmation or a declaration that you make, that when you experience it, to not only say the affirmation, but be able to experience the affirmation. If you can experience the affirmation, then you're probably already doing it right. I have, I just received my test exam, or to say, I'm so happy that I have been able to pass my test, my entrance exam with a 94. That's amazing. I feel so overjoyed. And so I feel happy that I have already, that I was able to pass my exam with a 94. And you're experiencing outcome. You see what I mean? So you're experiencing the outcome. You're feeling it fully and completely. You have the joy within you. It's energetic. It's emotionally infused. So there's a lot going on with an affirmation of that type. I feel great and healthy and vibrant at my new weight of, 140, where it used to be 160 or whatever it is. And so I feel great, energetic, vibrant, attractive, and healthy. Life is wonderful at this wonderful weight of mine. So again, that puts you in the experience of achievement. So whenever you're doing affirmations to reinforce with congruency the things that you want to actualize in your life, then if you can experience them, and they make you feel good, and they're emotionally, energetically infused, as you say them, you can experience them over and over again, then you're doing it right, okay? They say, one day I will be a multimillionaire. Well, how can you picture one day? What day are you talking about? And what is multimillionaire? How many millions is that? Or, so there's not a lot of emotion. There's not a specifics to it. There's not an outcome, a clear outcome image associated with that. So whenever you do your affirmations right, you're going to be all these wonderful things, and you're going to be able to feel it and experience it along the way. Okay, so that's what Muskan was saying. And Augustine said, "Hi, Laura. Last month I retired at age 65, and my son will visit Dubai for 10 days. I don't want to rock the boat due to a generation gap of 37 years. I admire your style. Please advise." Oh gosh, I can totally relate to that. But you know what? When kids come over to visit, they really want to connect with you. And I always find that it's always real fun to make food together, to laugh together, have a glass of wine together, and just kind of open yourself up to a wonderful experience, to maybe go out and do something new together. My children are 30, 32, and 37. No, I'm sorry, 39. So anyways, we have a big, age gap as well, but you know what? We get along just fine. There's always a lot of fun that we have together because, we allow each other to engage in each other's interests and enjoys, so it's always a great fun. I would say plan it, program. Imagine that you're going to have a wonderful experience. Do that ahead of time. Before he arrives, you're already planning, wow, my son comes over. We're going to have an amazing time together. We're going to be in rapport. We're going to connect so beautifully. It's like we never separate from one another. And we're going to have a blast. And so just start programming for positive things to occur, okay? Okay, great. If you have any questions about this, I'd love to hear your questions, to see what you have to share with me along the way, and what are some of the things that you really want to know more of as far as actualizing your goals. But to recap a little bit here, You got to know what you want. Anything you do, and I don't care how old this might sound or how many times people say the same thing over and over and over again. The truth is that if you don't know what you want, you're not going to get there. Or it's going to take you a much longer time to get there if you know what you want. So that knowing what you want is part of your desire, your earnest desires. You got to believe what you need, or you got to believe that you can do it. You got to believe that it's doable, that you deserve it, that you're worthy of it. Because even though you may feel I'm not worthy of this, you can still actualize it with belief. Okay, so belief is really important. It creates your living experiences, and you need to have that going on all the time. My daughter was saying to me today, we were having a conversation about this topic, and she said sometimes as I get closer to the things I want most in life, basically, as I picture myself already doing some of those things, I feel like it's not going to happen. So that's a belief. If you believe it's not going to happen, this feeling comes tied to that. So you can overwrite that belief. So I told her, you know what? One of the things that I like to do a lot, whenever I'm feeling that maybe a limiting belief or thought holding me back, that it's restricted me, like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not lovable, whatever it might be, as I picture myself maybe having achieved something really great, and it's really pushing the envelope, and I've already made a leap forward. I picture myself as already actualized, having already achieved that thing that I want, and then I make eye contact with that future me, and I ask her, what did you do to achieve that? What's the strategy? What do I need to do? Help me to make this happen. And I'll let her tell me the strategy that I need to engage in order to actualize that outcome. And then I choose to override my limiting thoughts and beliefs, like I'm not good enough, or I'm not smart enough, or I'm not worthy enough. And I override it, willingly override it, and then I still get into the image of achievement. And I say to my, and I own it. I allow my body, brain, and mind to own. I can do this. I deserve to have this. I can do that. I have the resources to make this happen. Even though I have a limiting belief that I might not be good enough or smart enough or whatever, I know I have the resources to do this because I earnestly desire this outcome. And so you override, and you're able then to step into the future you. And when you are that person, you honestly have different thoughts, different behaviors, and different beliefs, because you cannot have or maintain the same thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors and upgrade your life. It doesn't happen that way. You cannot do it. To upgrade your life, to achieve more things, requires you to upgrade your thinking, your beliefs, and your behaviors. Simple. It's the lowest hanging fruit. It's the easiest place to start, and it's one of those things that you can achieve, that you can engage in right away to achieve great things as of now. So if you want to become that person already, that future you has made it happen, already upgraded all those things. Okay, so that's why it's also important to step into the outcome experience over and over and over and over again, and role play it. I said you've already done that, because the more you do that, your brain is going to come to own it. Your brain can't distinguish between an imaginary experience and a real experience. It just experiences it. And the more you experience the things that maybe are most challenging to you, the things that bring greatest dis-ease or discomfort, the things that you fear the most but you really earnestly desire, the more you engage in it and role play it as if it's already happened, the more your body, brain, and mind accept it, and it's easier for it to fulfill it. Okay, so remember that role playing is key. So I should put that as ingredient number 8 is role play. It's key. Now notice along the way, the universe is so wonderful. I mean, it's always so caring. It's going to give you signs to help you stay on track, and that's called feedback. And feedback is, I heard someone in one of my classes once saying that when we program mentally for something that we want, like our goals, and we keep programming, that the feedback, we send it out to the universe, that feedback is the universe answering back. Or if we're praying to God, then feedback is God answering your prayers, or however you want to put it, because it's going to guide your next move. So when you're programming for something and the doors begin to open and phone calls come in or opportunities knocking on your door and you meet people that, help, really hand your goal into a platter right here in a silver platter right before you. And these doors keep opening. Obviously, you're doing something right. Okay, your desires is very clear. Your vision is clear. Your beliefs are clear. Your expectancy factor is there. Your images, your emotion, everything's probably exactly the way it's supposed to be because the doors are opening up and great things are happening. But there'll be times, perhaps, when the doors keep slamming shut. Like in the story I told you about this guy I was in a relationship with. The more I programmed for us to be happy, the more we fought. That was feedback. That was feedback that was telling me, this guy's not for you. And although sometimes we refuse to see that right immediately, we've got to start paying attention and take it for what it is. Feedback has no polarity. It's not about good, bad, right, wrong. It's just information coming back at you for you to use to take the next step. So when I got that fighting stuff, I said, why are we fighting? When I'm programming, I want this guy in my life. And I started to go through asking the questions. And asking questions is very important when you ask yourself questions. When I started asking questions, that's when I had the realization, well, Jay, wait a minute. Is it he I really want? Or is it happiness and acceptance and love and abundance and health? And it really turned out that I wanted these things and not him. And so that was a huge realization. But I wouldn't have realized that had the feedback not pointed to right at it. It was showing it to me. You guys are fighting all the time. This is not good for you. It's not good for you. Pay attention. Don't try to force a bad thing into your living experience. Be courageous and respond to the feedback in the best way possible. And as you respond to the feedback, it takes some courage. But once you do, you begin to realize there's something bigger, better, more than that. And when you get the message, and then you adjust your meditation again. So you now visualize maybe just you in the blue frame, miserable. In my case, I was unhappy. I was very thin. I was broke. I was like, it showed it. My body showed that I was not in good health. And that was the blue frame and all the things I had done to create that, because I created it. Nobody else did. I gave my power away to him, fine, but I can't blame him for my creations. I allowed them to happen. And then once I did that and I erased that image and moved the mirror over to slightly to the left and changed the frame to white, then I was able to realize that then in the white frame, I was able to project an image of me. Great. I was like standing tall, had the perfect, an ideal weight, and I had color to my skin. I had a smile on my face. I was wearing nice clothing. I was so happy, and I looked so healthy and so accepted and loved. I looked great. And I said, yeah, that's what I want. I don't know how I'm going to get it, but that's what I want. And when I stepped into that me, it felt amazing. And I said, yes, this is it. This is what I want. This is a life I want to live. And what was very cool that I did in that particular exercise, and we can do it now as well, was that once I stepped into it and I owned it and I let my body, brain, and mind just know how it felt to be this amazing, to have achieved this wonderful goal, then I stepped out of that image and I moved that picture of me already actualized right up here. A little bit above your mental screen area. Your mental screen is like about 20 degrees above the horizontal level of sight, like right here. So I put a little bit above it and I left it there as my strong attractor. So it would always guide me in that direction. So that I always remembered that's where I was heading or better than that. Okay? So all that being said, I think we have time for a mental exercise, if you will. So I'm going to ask you to think of a goal that you really, really want that you earnestly desire, okay? Something you really desire to actualize, to achieve. Now, know that you also make sure that you know that you can do it, that yes, you're pushing yourself a little bit, but you know that you can make it happen, that you've got the resources, you got the resources, and that you're deserving of it. Yes, you're worth it. Yeah, all that good stuff, So put as much belief into the whole experience, and also the expectancy. Without a shadow of a doubt, you will make it happen because you earnestly desire it, okay? So what we'll do first is I'm going to ask you to relax physically and mentally, and then I'm going to count from 10 to 1 just briefly, and then you're going to go into picturing your blue framed mirror of the mind right in front of you, slightly above the horizontal level of sight, like right here. You picture the blue frame mirror of the mind, which can be made big or small, whatever. It's got a lot of flexibility. And within the blue frame mirror of the mind, visualize your present or current situation. So this is your current reality, and you study it for a few moments. What have I done to actualize that? How did I participate? Obviously, fully and completely, because you created this outcome, or this life that you're living. So study it for a little while, just to know, where you stand in the role you played. And then we're going to erase that image. We're going to move that mirror slightly to your left, change the color of the frame to white, and then project within the white framed mirror the outcome that you want instead. It's the desire, okay? So once you project the outcome image, then you're going to evolve it, make it a little bit more evolved. Make sure you get more specifics. If it's a job that you want, be more specific. What kind of job, how much, who you're working with, how far from your house, you have to commute, not commute, all that kind of stuff. You have to move or stay in town. If it's a weight, what weight specifically? Something that's doable. If you believe you can reduce 5 pounds a month, fine. If not 2 pounds a month, fine. Just do what you believe is doable, but yet you'll get to it. And whatever it might be. If it's a health condition, maybe a smaller size tumor, or maybe now you're with the love of your life, whatever. That's the outcome image. And you evolve it, add color and action if you want. And once you get it just right, then in whichever way you can imagine, you either walk up to it or move it towards you, step into that actualized you, and now experience this wonderful outcome achievement. You have already reached your goal. It's already done. It's already behind you. It's experience it like already done. And notice the joy, the emotional, the happy emotions that you engage in by already being in that experience of achievement. My God, my life is amazing. I'm so happy I have this financial freedom, or I have this wonderful love of my life, or whatever it is, okay? And you experience it for a while. I'm going to ask you then to press your fingers together. This is going to be valuable later on. And you press your fingers like this, and you're going to say, whenever I have a need or desire to feel, think, believe, or behave this way, all I need to do is press my 3 fingers together, and it will be so. So now you've locked in this experience of achievement, and it's going to come in handy during the day whenever you want to go back and experience it over and over and over again, or whenever you feel doubtful or you feel a little vulnerable, then you say, oh, cancel, put your fingers together, bring back this experience of achievement for even 5 seconds throughout the day, many times throughout the day, and you stay connected and you think about your goal often that way, all right? And then once we do that, we'll step out of the image, and then you push it back away from you and lift it up so you always have it right there, almost like it's always in your mind's eye, where you're heading, what you're going to actualize, and or better than that, okay? So you're ready for the exercise? I am. Let me see. We'll answer some more questions a little bit later. Let me see. We have a bunch of the things coming up, but I'll answer them a little bit, all right? Let's do the exercise first. I don't want you to miss out on this. Okay, so get comfy. Get some water here. Get comfortable. Close your eyes. Take a deep belly breath. And while exhaling, relax your body by releasing tensions and pressures that you may be experiencing from your head all the way down to your feet. Move slowly downward. And anywhere you feel a tension or pressure, just relax it, release it, and let it go. And breathe deeply, slowly, and rhythmically along the way. Take another deep belly breath. And as you exhale, relax your mind by thinking of a tranquil and passive scene. Any scene that makes you feel tranquil and passive helps you to relax your mind. Enjoy this wonderful, relaxing scene. Take another deep belly breath, and while exhaling, just cozy into this wonderful inner state and relax. To help you enter a deeper, healthier level of mind, I'm going to count from 10 to 1. On each descending number, you will feel yourself going deeper, and you will enter a deeper, healthier level of mind. 10, 9, feel going deeper. 8, 7, 6, deeper and deeper. 5, 4, 3, deeper and deeper. 2, 1. You are now at a deeper, healthier level of mind, deeper than before. This is a great inner state to be in, to think about your goals. But before you do, project an image of a blue framed mirror, we call the mirror of the mind, onto your mental screen area that is past your eyelids and slightly above the horizontal level of sight. This mirror is very flexible. You can make it bigger or smaller to fit in a small scene or a large scene, a person or many people. It doesn't matter, it has great flexibility. Now project within the blue framed mirror of the mind your current reality or your problem situation and study it for a few moments. You created this. Accept responsibility for your creation. Bring to mind what you did to allow this to happen, or what you did to create this, the role that you played. Just study it for a few moments. You know what it is. Be honest with yourself. It's the most important thing. It's not about pointing fingers to anyone or anything. It's about taking responsibility, because the sooner you do, the faster you can turn your life around. Now erase that image of your current reality or problem situation. Change the frame, the color of the frame, to white, and move now the white framed mirror slightly to the left. And now project within the white framed mirror of the mind your goal or outcome or the future you. Evolve this image of the future you or your goal or outcome. Add specifics, maybe amount of money or time frames or exact weight sizes, or weight or sizes of clothing, kind of money you want to have earned or you have saved up, the kind of person you want to be with, whatever it is, just be a little more specific. Add color, action, detail. Create that clear outcome image. It can always change, so you're not stuck with it. Always make it better, adjust it along the way. But at least you have a clear vision as to what you want to actualize or where you want to go with your life. What are you doing? Who are you with? who is enjoying this wonderful achievement with you, because success always happens in relationship to others. Where do you live? What are you wearing? What are you driving, for that matter? What are you sleeping next to? Once you have it just right, you can either bring the image close to you, or you move your awareness towards the image of actualization, and I'll step into that you in the right frame mirror of the mind, and become one with that you who has already achieved this amazing outcome, or who is already enjoying this wonderful goal, this wonderful achievement. It feels so good. Feel the energy of joy, the emotional, wonderful feeling that you have inside you. If it's freedom or love or happiness or security or whatever it is, just allow it to build inside you, because it feels so good to be this way. Notice who's with you, enjoying this wonderful achievement. You can even imagine yourself moving through time, moving towards the future, if you will. And every day your life gets better and better and better. Just doing this brings a wonderful smile to your face and helps you to bring a better posture to your body. You kind of sit upright and you smile with a big smile because it feels so good. And when it all feels just right, press your 3 fingers together and say to yourself mentally, whenever I have a need or desire to feel, think, believe, or behave this way, all I need to do is press my 3 fingers together and it will be so. Whenever I have a need or desire to feel, think, believe, or behave this way, all I need to do is press my 3 fingers together and it will be so. Just take a few moments to notice how your thoughts are upgraded, how your beliefs are opening doors of opportunity because they are upgraded. Notice how you have better behaviors that are more congruent and consistent, and that you persistently are pursuing your goals. And it feels good to be this disciplined. And it feels this good to have already achieved. Remember this feeling. Let your body, brain, and mind remember this you. Now step out of the image. Once again, push that image of you with full actualization or completely having achieved the outcome. Push it away from you and raise it up above, almost where you can really see it with your third eye, your mind's eye, so to speak. So that it's always there, guiding you in that direction. And say to yourself, I will achieve this or better than this. I have the resources to achieve this or better than this. Great, wonderful. Now, as you feel ready, you can kind of come back to this time and place. Maybe take a deep breath and yawn and stretch. And as you feel comfortable and ready, you can open your eyes, feeling wide awake and better than before. Good morning. I always say that to my students when we're in class. I hope you enjoyed that exercise. Zufan says, Dear Laura, I've been trying to get to Silva System, the 13 CDs in an MP3 format, but I'm not able to get anyone to help me. Do you know where I'll be able to order it? Thanks. Yes, give us about a week and we will make it available for you on our Silva Method website. So we're working on it. We're going to make sure that it's going to be there. So you will have it maybe, let's say, give us about a week's time and it will be available to you, okay? Susie says, wow, you answered one of my questions. That's powerful, because she had asked before, tips on how to stay in the right mental state without letting desperation subconsciously leak in. That's her issue. Example, have to get another job, incoming income this month, or the outcome will be at the person's worst fear. I'm totally expecting it. Well, you're saying all the right, you're writing down all the wrong things because you're expressing, those very things. And I understand that, but you have to be very, very consistent about your thinking, Susie. You have to say, it will come. You've got to trust and trust in the fact that things will come and happen along the way as you need them to happen, and then better than that. But you've got to start practicing everything, whether you have to force yourself to say, I expect my income to increase. I am going to pay all my bills. I'm going to be very comfortable. This is going to be one of the best months of my life. It's going to get better every day in every way after that. And you just keep sticking to it. Don't let up at all. So with each day and each passing day, and no door or window opens, a little nudge comes, and I can feel in my solar plexus. Help! Any tips on or techniques to overwrite this? I think we kind of already talked about a lot of stuff there already. If you already did this exercise with me, you'll be able to overwrite a lot of those things. But to cancel those negative thoughts, and bring yourself back to staying on a positive, proactive, and persistent path moving forward. Remember your 3 fingers technique. Anytime that negativity comes in, you take it out of the way, you cancel it out, close your eyes, and go back into the image of achievement and experience it fully and completely, and just keep doing all the right things. Keep working at it, keep building your skill level, keep doing all the right things, whatever it might be, and you'll be able to move forward. I know you will, but you've got to just be persistent, okay? Don't give up. Don't give up. It's going to start all falling into place. All right, guys. Well, I think we're kind of with a little bit over time. Suzanne says, thank you. Thank you for your help. I love it. Don't worry about it. I'm here to help you. My main goal is for you to succeed. I really want that for you, and I know you can make it happen. So I'm here for you guys. And let me know what you want to talk about in 2 weeks, because that way you give me plenty of time to start researching it, and then bring in Silva into the picture as well. And I think we had also a question earlier, but I don't see it any longer. It was here earlier, but I guess it went away. But just let me know what you want to talk about. Let me know, or let us know how we can help you further. And we're always here for you because, again, we want you to succeed. Thank you for being here tonight. I love getting together with you guys. Really, it makes my day. It brightens up my spirit, and it gets me energized. I have to be honest. I woke up really early this morning to take a family member to the hospital for a minor surgery, and I was there with them all day long, and then cooked for them and did all kinds of stuff to make sure that they were comfortable and feeling good. And right before our webinar, I felt a little tired. I was getting a little sleepy because I've been up for many, many hours already. And I have to tell you, just talking to you guys and being here with you has brought me so much energy. And I love to be here with you. So thank you for allowing this to happen. Thank you for showing up. You guys are the best. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks, okay? Ciao. Bye for now.